Good morning and welcome back to the channel. I'm here in my hometown of Brisbane and I'm doing a walk from home. It'll end up being probably only about a 9 or 10k hike, a training hike, and I'll be walking through Bunyaville Conservation Park, some of it, because it does link a fair bit of the way to Sanctuary village. And I'm just walking to the trailhead at the moment, and so today's walk will be following some of the fire management trails in Bunyaville State Forest Park, and a little bit of urban walking just in a linking section to get down to the South Pine River and walk up to Bunyaville or Bunya Crossing Reserve, popular picnic and swimming spot very close to my home, and then we'll cross the river and go up to Kumbartcho Sanctuary and walk all the tracks there, and I'll show you my regular training area throughout and some of the variations that I do as I'm in my beginning stages of training after my January walking session on the Te Araroa track in New Zealand. And if you've missed any of those videos, pop back to my channel and have a little look, but you'll find heaps of local content too, and lots of Australian content as well. Cockatoos up there. Might be a bit hard to see, but they're sounding the alert of me walking through their home. I'm first heading up a track called Hippie House Track. Now I'm guessing at some point there must have been a hippie house up here. That is no longer the case, because in Bunya and also suburbs of Bunya and also Albany Creek, the houses are pretty affluent ones now. But anyway, as you can see, this is fire management trail, and I've walked about a kilometre and a half from home, so I'll have to add that onto the stats at the end, because I'm tracking by all trails today, but I didn't start tracking that until I reached where the sign was near the main road. Reached my first intersection. The Hippie House track goes that way. I will be coming back that way, but for right now I'm heading left along Mulgara Break, which is a loop that comes back to there and heads behind me the way I've come. So it's going to be a bit of a case of hearing some planes, trains and automobiles today, but amongst that you're definitely going to hear some gorgeous birdsong. At the moment you may be able to hear the lorikeets screeching. We have plenty of cockatoos in this area, but right now the lorikeets are saying good morning. coming to the end of Muggera Break, and you'll see on the left hand side as we go down this road here, Muggera Court is where all the most affluent homes in the suburb of Albany Creek are. Absolutely beautiful. They are on nice big blocks and they overlook mountains and 3 trees and all of that cool stuff. Bougainvillea, typical of the plants you'll find in southeast Queensland. I believe they're imported. I did want to point out there's a track here just before this gate that does lead onto a more direct route down to the South Pine River, but as I said, we are following this way. Beautiful magnolia. Just gorgeous. The centre's heavenly all along the street. Lots of people have chosen this plant for landscaping. Just gorgeous. There's a bud about to come out. Yeah, so this is a gorgeous little street. Lots of lovely, very expensive homes. So yes, we'll be following this little urban section, only for a little bit, not too far. Nice architecture.
The summer's touching my face, reminding me of last year.
I don't know if it's coming up, but Albany Creek is quite hilly actually. The whole area is crossing Bunyaville up the top there where those towers are. Eaton's Hill.
In the city where we both live, pine trees reign and streets called by name. We were breathing, flying, feeling the lights guiding our way.
Okay, now I get to walk along South Pine River for most of my walk today. For the most part today, it's just that little road linking part that is a little bit hilly. The rest of it is mostly flat. Beautiful, easy walking, which is perfect for when you're starting training again, or you want something easy, or you're recovering from an injury. Yeah, really lovely. It's a very popular path. So we're coming up to a section now that reminds me of Girraway National Park because it has lots of rocks. Good morning, grandson. See, there's your smiley lion. He's walking with Grandma this morning. Bet you know where we are. Going to see the truck garden, the fairy garden, suspension bridge, the lake, some other trails. Just gorgeous. Grandma loves you. Here's your kisses. Mwah, 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 mwah. I love you.
Running with the nightlight, hearts burning for the first time. Reality is closer, but we're not getting older. Tonic dip Picasso, paints you and me in jello.
So I referenced Girraway National Park before. That's nowhere near this area. This is we're on the north side of Brisbane. Girraway National Park is in the Stanthorpe region, which lays on the Queensland, New South Wales border. But anyway, this is my walk from home, so how gorgeous is this? It's such a phenomenal trail.
For the nights I had to tease us with warmth and such, music, love and touch.
Here we are, grandson. You know where this is. But for everyone else playing along, this is one of the areas where I bring our grandson, who's now 4, to drive his monster trucks as a bit of a stopping point on our hike. And so we swim in there. Hey grandson, and you like playing here? There's a great big picnic area up here. Unfortunately, the car park, which is behind me just there, got affected by the last little floods that we had through here. There is a toilet block up there, but anyway, yeah, the car park, I believe, still has a lock gate on it, but you can park at the top and come down and go for a very lovely walk. Lots of lovely flat grass up here, lots of picnic tables. Yes, it's a really lovely area. But we are heading this way. For most of the walk today now, we're going to be following the Jan MacArthur Trail. And there's a heap of volunteers who have done a massive amount of work, or keep doing a massive amount of work to replant, reform this track, because it does get affected by river flooding. Huge group of volunteers, a lot of them actually in their 70s and 80s, and they're always looking for more help. So if you live in the area and you'd like to help out, talk to the lovely people at the Kumbartcho Sanctuary, and I'll show you the details for that later on. Today, for instance, there seems that there's a group doing some land care in here. So we're about to go down to the causeway. You'll see where the tracks become water affected here. It's just from the last rain we had only about a week ago. So there's fairly decent washouts here. That one there's about a foot deep. Goes down there, the causeway down there. Normally I'd go straight across that, but today I'm trying to show you the different ways I lengthen my walk a bit. So we are going to head left here, just for out and back, and then we'll come back and cross the causeway. Coming out into a bit of a paddock section. We're backing onto acreage properties here. So we just follow this up. We're on the left-hand side of the South Pine River at the moment. There's just a short bushy section before we link into the last little bit of open paddock on this side. River's just over here. Morning, magpies. Quite a few swings along this section of the river, on both sides actually. So when we go back and walk across the causeway, we'll come up back this side, and there's another very popular swing over there. Now we come out into the other little bit of mowed area. Council mows this, which is really lovely. Thank you, Moreton Bay Council. And then we pop down to the river for a little bit. There are 2 resident platypus that live in the stretch of the river. One's down this way a little bit. I see at least one of them probably every second time that I'm walking in the river, and the thing is to spend the amount of time necessary to try and spot them.
Running with the nightlight, hearts burning for the first time. Reality is closer, but we're not getting older. Tonic dip Picasso paints you and me in yellow, and now will soon be over. We're soldiers and we're higher, higher. We're higher, higher. We're higher, higher. We're higher.
Here we are at our turnaround spot. The grass only goes to just there, and we're right by the river here. Very popular place for photographers and hikers. But for me, it's time to turn around now and go back down to the causeway down here and cross over and go back up the other side. Well, now we're meeting up with the Jan MacArthur Trail again. I came in from that away. And now let's go down and explore the causeway. Our grandson loves to play down here, don't you, sweetheart? It's a nice little area for little kids to play with their parents, or in our case, grandparents watching. Really lovely section. Sometimes you'll spot the platypus from here, but not usually in this particular pocket because it's a bit further up. Yes, it's lovely. If it rains a lot, of course you've got to watch the depth of this causeway for flooding. So anyway, we're going up this way, going left today, following this up to Kumbartcho Sanctuary, a walk that I do commonly for training. So you can make it as long or as short as you want. When you get to the stairs at the Sanctuary where the suspension bridges, you can do as many laps of those stairs, do them in singles, do them in doubles, incorporate the lake as I do to break things up a bit. But I'll show you that when I get up there. You can clearly see the layers in the sediment here that have eroded away and changed over the years. We're just about to the tree swings that we saw from the other side of the river. As I was saying, this is a very, very popular place for teenagers and for younger kids with adult supervision. So you'll see that in a sec. River's over there. Oh, I'll just check what's in that water. Just in case. Just in case. Usually you see bubbles for platypus, not rings like that. That's more likely to be a water bird. Track continues that way, and that's the way we're going, but just wanted to show you one of the river swings. It's quite deep in this section, though I've never swung off it myself, nor will I, but just wanted to show you that. So we were standing at the other side there, over there before, and we walked up on the grass that way to just up to there, and that was our turnaround point. So, haven't seen any platypus today yet. Normally when I walk this section, it can be anywhere from 4:15 in the morning, and I usually wrap it up around 8:30, so I can move on to work. I'm still working 5 days a week. Another river swing. So I like to smash out my training before my work day begins. Yes, very picturesque setting. So blessed to have this area so close to home. Very fortunate indeed. And there's lots of photographers down here today. I've seen 2 so far, and you can understand why, because there's just so much to see around the river. What are you shooting at the moment?
Red-browed finches.
Lovely. Lots of little spots along here to stop off down by the river. Have a bit of a look. Okay, we're about to enter the sanctuary now. A rainforest pocket. So if you happen to watch my how to train for the T Araroa trail video, or any of my other training videos, there's a set of stairs that goes up here, and the suspension bridge is just up here, and on the right hand side here, where these stairs are, there's 50 stairs up, and so I go up to the top, touch the top and come back down, so 100. And I might do 800 of those at a time, the walk, and then I do a walk around the lake. Today I'm going to take you over the suspension bridge first. It's quite a lovely little pocket in here. The suspension bridge was rebuilt last year following a massive storm, but there's a waterfall that runs there when you have lots of rain from the lake at the top. And so let's go across this suspension bridge to the other set of stairs that I would do laps on. So as I was saying, you do them single stairs, double stairs, and I count them as rounds of hundreds, 100 each time. The other stairs lead up here to the lake at the top, and then if you go straight ahead this way, that takes you to the truck garden and the fairy garden, doesn't it, grandson? Where our grandson loves to go. We're going to go up these stairs today. I was only up at Mount Glorious hiking with him on, when was it? Friday, last Friday. We did our first hike of the year, and it's only 5.3 kilometres, tons of fungi up there. He had a great time, and he asked at the end, when are we going to the fairy garden and the truck garden, the suspension bridge? And I said, oh, we'll do that next hike. But we gave him an insect, a bug catching kit with lots of little scientific accessories for his birthday, because he's just turned 4. And so on the hike we're using the magnifying glass to check out the insects, and where we could capture them just long enough to sit on the next little bench and write our findings up. How many legs, how many eyes, what's the difference between a spider and an insect? You know, is the beetle, for example, does he have a shiny shell, or if it's a spider, is it hairy? Yeah, so normally I would come down the stairs from there and come down this way. Lovely ducks out here. So this is a delightful area to bring kids. We have the butterfly garden here. There's lots of lovely local artwork with the fairies. And the sanctuary itself, Kumbartcho Sanctuary, does do guided walks. Guided walks to spot platypus, echidna, birds, all of that sort of thing. I think it's once a month. You'll have to check their Facebook page as it's a community group. But once a year they hold their Children's Day, Fairy Day, and the kids dress up as fairies and elves, and the volunteers and the ranger, there's a park ranger here, and they throw some much needed environmental education in, because there's a bird hide here too. Once upon a time I believe this was a small zoo. There's a frog garden up there. This used to be the lizard enclosure, as you can see. And then this is the bush chuck garden. So I'll have a quick look up there, see what we can see. Just go through here. See what we can see. So there's lots of lovely picnic tables here, lots of lovely shade structures. So as I was saying, it's a wonderful place to bring children. And there's lots of, like, here's a native ginger. There's all sorts of bush tucker in here. Nothing really of great interest at the moment. This area looks like it's just received a bit of a redo. It's nicer than it used to be. And it takes a lot of work from these volunteers to keep on doing this. A large fruited raspberry. That's this guy here. Be nice to see raspberries on it. So back out the gates, and we're turning left and we're walking around the lake this way. There is a month in the year, I think it's late February or early March, where part of this walk is closed, just a little chunk of it, because of the bunyip trees, just when the fruit are falling, just for all of our own safety. This is the dammed section, and in the sanctuary there's absolutely no dogs allowed here, which is a wonderful thing. So if you're walking your dogs, just don't come up into this section. You can still walk all along the river, lots of lovely areas to walk. And we have the bridge here. And then maybe this is a good spot to bring you up to date a little bit on those injuries that I sustained on the Araroa Trail, and how I said that, you know, I thought, I think I've just twisted my knee, and then it turned into, well, actually I've injured both meniscus, only minorly. So the injuries have kind of continued a bit from there. I've had an MRI scan since then, and it shows that, you know, at my age the meniscus aren't going to really heal. They're only frail, they're only frayed, they're only minor injuries, so they're no drama. And it showed that I had a number of lesions around behind the patella. Lesions are actually just, in my case, scar tissue from repeated falls onto my knees. And one of the issues with not having any sensation at all in my feet due to spinal cord damage, due to my spinal based disability, is that when I fall really hard on my knees. So anyway, that's produced some lesions which are causing dramas with me when I'm wanting to squat or kneel, and they have been for about a year. And then I've also got some bursitis going on. So there's 4 issues with the left knee, 3 with the right. have to, according to my physio, Queensland Sports Medicine Clinic, I just have to go really slowly with training this year. The other really annoying part is I was doing some landscaping about 8 weeks ago, and we have a set of fairly steep Merbau stairs, and I slipped on them and fell all the way down the stairs and injured my right calf muscle. Fell really hard on it actually, and hard enough that we had to do an ultrasound, and the ultrasound showed that in fact I've fallen hard enough to permanently kill off the fat, and so I've got a deficit in that leg, and just a very minor calf muscle tear, and that right ankle's the one that I've been operated on. Now, as I was saying before, I don't have any sensation in my feet. Sensation comes back about halfway up my ankle, and since that fall I've had pins and needles and numbness from that right ankle, about 3/4 of the way or 2/3 up the way to my knee. And so I just, it happened when I fell, so I just thought it was to do with that. But according to more tests, it's actually spinal, that L4, L5/1 area. So yeah, that's not cool. Gave me a bit of a scare. Husband thinks it might be spinal shock because I fell so heavily, which can take about 3 months to wear off. So let's hope that's the case and not further damage. Now, I won't show because there's kids playing over there, but there's a kids playground there. There's also a toilet block up there. That's the education centre. A lot of really great environmental talks and guided walks lead from there. The environmental centre does tours for schools. So if you're in the North Brisbane area, I can recommend this nursery here, Kumbartcho Nursery. It's just up there, because they sell a heap of seedlings and bigger plants that are very cheap way to landscape your garden. Have volunteers and paid workers there. But the important thing about that nursery is that they only stock plants that are native to not this region but this suburb and a couple of suburbs around, so this exact area. Today we're going to go follow this path down here to the bird hide next, which is this structure here to our right. Yes, those boards are slippery when wet, so do be careful. These ones. Sorry. Thank you so much to whoever painted all the murals, particularly for children on these walls. And I've spent a bit of time looking down here to see what I could see in the early morning. I've never seen any platypus up in the dam area, but I certainly see them down the river. As I said, usually on about 50% of my walks down here, so it's a very common thing. Anyway, we're going to wind up around the path, and I'll take you to see the truck and the fairy garden next, and then we'll go on one more trail before we turn around and we start heading back. Just lovely. Love doing this walk in winter in particular. Hot as anything in summer. Thank goodness we're out of that now. Whew. So we came from that path down there. We're just coming up here There's a fairy, like a wishing well type structure there. There's a koala viewing platform over there, or a canopy viewing platform. And then down over this little bridge again. We were standing at the other end of it before, so we've done a loop around the lake. Oh, here's this where the waterfall is when there's rain. Yes, here's the dammed area again. Truck gardens up that way, butterfly gardens just here, bush tucker gardens there, then you've got the bridge up that end and the track that leads around the dam back to here. And now we are following this, if you see the sign here, towards Frog Hollow and the fairy garden. So we're heading up this way. A lot of the trees are named, labelled I should say, which is excellent to see. Helps the children become familiar with names of the trees. There's always work being carried out in this area. It's just beautiful. There's so many areas to sit, have a break. So it's an excellent area for toddlers, really small children. Just so much to see. Another koala viewing platform. And the truck gardens down there, fairy gardens over there. Oh, looks like it's closed at the moment, but we'll have a bit of a look. This is the frog garden. Let's follow the trail down. It must be we're doing work on the fairy tail trail at the moment. Oh yeah, they've taken down a tree there, that's why. They never keep it closed for long. Oh, they've taken down a couple of trees. Oh, these plants are excellent, these white flowers, excellent to lure the butterflies in. Ah yeah, see what's happened here, this tree. That's why it's closed at the moment. Oh, the fairy garden itself isn't closed though. So let's go in and have a look. It's absolutely delightful in here. Every time I see like a little fairy garden area, it reminds me of my mum. Because when she was a little girl just like me, she was obsessed with fairies. And so much so that she wanted to be called Leafy Lacey. She wanted to change her name to Leafy Lacey. And there's lots of little fairy houses where you can open the doors and there's various things behind them. But yeah, they're doing some work down here at the moment, so I won't hang around for long. I'll just give you a quick look because it really is such a delightful area for kids. Oh, table and chairs. Just think of all the work that's gone into this. You know, there's little hand-painted signs everywhere. And there's little things like little lizards for children to play with and put back. Just delightful. And then we have the truck garden here. Our grandson quite enjoys that now, but his favourite, the bit that's caught his imagination in the past has been the fairy garden. But although he's been a monster truck and truck mad all the way along his entire life, but when he comes here, that fairy garden, there's something about it that just captures him. So next we're going to turn right down this trail here. And it doesn't go for very long. There we go. This way. And while you're down here, still look out for koalas, because I have seen one near here. So once again, this is another little patch of rainforest. Quite pretty. How lucky are we to have such a gorgeous walk so close to residents that live in Aspley, Albany Creek, Everton Park, Brisbane Downs, Eaton's Hill, Warner area. Just delightful. Just a really relaxing walk, really. Now we're entering acreage property again, just the bottom of it. So this is the end of that paddock area. Now we're turning left to another bridge. Clouds and sky, just delightful. So this is going to be my turnaround spot today. There's nothing to see off this bridge because there's no water in this part of the creek at the moment. So yes, I'm going to turn around now and head back through the paddock, through the rainforest, back up to the sanctuary. Very good. Just here beside the river, just on a little causeway. I only have about 7 kilos in my backpack today. Instead of just a week 2 of training and just easing back into it slowly. So I'm going to physio once a fortnight, walking 3 to 4 times a week, doing between 5.3 kilometres if I'm going with my grandson and up to just under 10 kilometres each walk. Varying terrain, but fairly flat terrain at the moment. Tomorrow I'm going walking with a girlfriend, one you know. We're trying to do that every week, but at the moment with our calendar issues it's about every fortnight. But anyway, I'm really excited to see her tomorrow morning because I haven't seen her in a while. Okay, time to keep heading back. Got to get to work today at some point. Back across the causeway. And we're headed down the left-hand side of the path this time.
Since this video is recorded, I've seen my physio again, and he said that because my mobility is not affected in any way, that I'm absolutely fine. So nothing to worry about. Suck it up, buttercup, and keep on going. So that's great news.
Back past the picnic area and the river over the causeway, and that way up there is the boardwalk. Back up the boardwalk. This time we're going up the major entrance or exit point, which is just up here instead of the further one where we came down. So the way I entered this trail was further up that way, but this time I'm taking the stairs back up to the road. Cross the road, head right, and we go up the same way we came down, up a couple of hilly streets up and down the hills. So we gain elevation back up to Mugara Break in the Bunyaville Conservation Area. Here we are, back at the end of the cul-de-sac, entering Bunyaville Conservation Park again. I might as well show you from here. So we came in via the track down that way, which was Mugara Break, I should say, track, and then we're going down this way, down the hill, up around the other side to complete the loop. So back where we started, near the road. Woo. So, a bit windier now. Very late for work today. Wasn't as organised as I was supposed to be. I'm not quite back into a rigid training routine at the moment. I will be soon. So this branch of the track, so this will join up with that hippie house track where we began. This has more rock on it and it's steeper. Still utterly delightful. Where I entered through the gates into Bunyaville Conservation Area was right up top there where those houses are, and I followed this track which came steep down and then up. Now I'm at the first track intersection on the right, which is called Northern Break. Now, so I'm taking that because the Northern Break meets up with the hippie house trail, which leads to the end of this walk. 8.95 kilometres in according to All Trail, but you have to add another 1.5 kilometres on that from where I started walking this morning before I started the actual walk.
When the line arrived with strangers with nothing more common than before. For the night started to tease us with warmth and such, music, love and touch.
Now I'm back on the hippie house trail, and only about 900 metres to the end, if that. So this has been a lovely walk, but I thought you might like to hear some of my hiking plans for the year, because there's quite a bit. I'm going to be doing more training and more hiking with Nikki from Gnarly Adventures, so that's going to be wonderful. And then next month I have friends coming over, hiking friends coming over from New Zealand. You know, the YouTube community is really tight, whether it's around Brisbane or whether it's in New Zealand. So Vivian and John are coming over, and so is Ray from Hiking Revival and Nikki from Gnarly Adventures. We're going to have a lovely lunch together at my place and with my mountain man, and then the following day we're doing a mountain summit hike together. So I'm really looking forward to that. Major trip for the year though. There will be other hikes and multi-days and all that sort of stuff, but major trip for the year, we're taking our caravan down to Tasmania for 3 months, and I have some fairly remote multi-day hikes planned there, some very popular walks, injury dependent of course, but so that's exciting. So there's going to be quite a bit coming up on the channel. And then yes, the Tiararoa is still very firmly in my sights. Where's the tag? There it is. Beginning again January next year. It's a very busy year this year. We've got a lot going on. We've got a lot of work, and we're about to head off on a beach caravanning trip for about 10 days with a group of friends up to Rainbow Beach, which is near Noosa in Queensland. Mountain Man and I will be working during that time, but still we'll have some time off as well. So yes, lots of camping trips, lots of work, lots of training, lots of physio, bit of medical stuff, and lots of socialising with a great bunch of people. So I'll catch you when we get to the beginning of the walk or the end of the walk. Just coming back to Mugura Break, which is down that way. I've come from this way, Hippie House Trail, continuing along that way to my exit point. Hey everyone, well it's time to sign off. Back at the start where I began this morning. So stats, 10.33 kilometres, add on the 1.5 to get here and 1.5 to get home. That'll be 13.33 kilometres for me, so that's good for where I am at the moment. And elevation gain, not much, it was just a little bit under 200 metres. 3-hour walk, pace says it was only 3.5 kilometres. I did it the other day without filming, and my pace was 6.6 kilometres. So filming definitely slows you down, but hopefully you've enjoyed this, and you'll see the All Trails information little video up next. Bye for now.